Hi guys, it's me Bimsar here. So today I'm going to give you an introduction about dimensions. So without any more further jibber jabber, let's straightly get into the topic. So what are these dimensions? Dimensions are merely directions. Being humans, being 3D creatures, we can observe 3 dimensions, and those are this direction, and this direction. So this is a 3D object, which means it has 3 dimensions. In other words, it has 3 directions which we can measure the length. We can say it as length, height and depth. Did you know that being 3D creatures, we can only observe objects as 2D? We cannot see 3D. You may say, I'm a madman. In some cases, it might be true. Now, this is a 3D object and it has 3 directions. We can see it as length, depth, and height. So I'm holding this block with my left hand and I'm holding my phone with my right hand, and I'm out of options, so I had to use my tongue to show you direction, so just don't mind. So being 3D creatures, we can move in all 3 directions. Like we can move this ways, we can move this ways, and we can move this way. So imagine, what if we were 2D? So, if we were 2D, we could only possibly move in 2 directions because it's 2D, only 2 directions. And if we were 1D, we could move only in 1 direction. Okay, now for the demonstration, let's imagine there are 4 kinds of land. And they are 0D land, which is point land, 1D land, which is line land, 2D land, in other words, plane land, 3D land, which is space land. Now, in line land, there are only lines. There is right and left, but no up and down or back and forth. Now let's see the interaction of 2 citizens in line land. So here are 2 lines which are citizens of line land, and the blue one will see purple only as a point because it can only see the front of him, and it is same with the blue one. As line has only a 1 direction, line is 1D. But what about a point? Point has no direction. It means that is a 0D thing. So it is clear to us now that 1D objects will see the world as 0 dimensions. Now welcome to plane land, as known as flat land. In this flat land, there are only 2D objects, which we call shapes, like circles, triangles, and squares. Now imagine an interaction between 3 shapes in flat land, which are circle, triangle, and square. Now the circle will only see one edge of both shapes, which are square and triangle, which means a line. So now it is clear that the objects in the 2D land will see them as 1D, which means that 2D objects will see themselves as 1D. So in 1D world they see in 0D, in 2D world they see in 1D. Now you may have started seeing a pattern. So as follows, in 3D world we see in 2D. Okay, let the theory hold for itself. Now you may argue that, wait, but we can actually see things in 3 dimensions. Then what's going on here? Okay, now here's a cube. Wait, how you could say that this is a cube? You can't see the depth. This may be a rectangular prism. You can only see the length and the height. You don't have any idea about the depth. Okay, now if I rotate this cube, okay, now you can see that this is a perfect cube, not a rectangular prism. And if I move it closer to you and move it further away, now you can have a pretty much good idea about the depth. Haha, I find you confusing now. I said that, okay, you cannot have any sort of idea about the depth. And on the other hand, I said, okay, you can have a pretty much good idea about the depth. Okay, the fact that we could observe depth has almost everything to do with our brain, because we live in a 3D world and it would be more precise if we could observe it in 3D. So we can see there is an angle which we can see the world. Now you see there's an intersection part in the middle, and that's where the magic happens. Okay, if not for that intersection part, we cannot see the world in 3 dimensions. You can try it at home. Okay, now get your 2 cute little fingers, put them further away and try to touch them with each other. Yay, you made it! Okay, why were we able to do that? Because we had both our eyes open and there was that intersection part, and we had a pretty much good idea about the depth. So no matter though they were further away, we could still touch our fingers. Now do the same experiment with one eye closed. I bet the further away you are, okay, you cannot do it. Now why is that? That is because as we close one of our eye, we lost that intersection part, so that we couldn't have a pretty much good understanding about the depth, so we couldn't do it. And now you understand that we have a sense of depth because of our brain, and we as 3D creatures just see the world as 2D, and it's our brain which converts into 3D. And I could say that, okay, my hand is close to my nose than this cube, but further away the vision goes, that intersection slowly fade away and we cannot see the depth between stars. We 3D creatures see things as 2D, except for the thing that the brain converts it to 3D and shows it to us. So for us to see an object in 3D, we must have access to 4D. So today we talked about dimensions, how we see things because of dimensions, and this is kind of an introductory part 1 to dimensions. So that's it for today, and thank you so much guys for hanging with me. And yeah, so if you have any comments and suggestions, just comment here, and thank you again. Goodbye. So I typed it there and I thought it would be more heart soothing if I say it in my word, and if you think this is worthy, please share it, and thank you so much again guys. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Love ya.